and a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Maiyegun live. And thank you very much for joining me. Check your device. To those of you who are always, complaining about the audio. So I'm trying to get used to talk gently, slowly, and at the same time, the microphone picks it. You get that now? So please check if the audio is perfect on your own device. And this should be followed with, after reading the caption of the broadcast, read the description of the broadcast as well. Like it, share it, invite your friends and your not so friendly friends and tell them that Maiyegun today, that Maiyegun is live. And of course, I miss you too. And we probably have so much to catch up on. So let us get down to it. In the last few days, Rufire, the Kaduna Little Finger, has been touring the country. A few days ago, it was their guest, or it was a guest of the Catholic Church, in Anglican Church, it doesn't really matter, but it was invited by the Christian body in Imo State, where he was also hosted by kind of other groups. Meanwhile, the APC Egbekegbe's government in Imo State, led by Oples Uzodingba, mobilized their members, of course, to reject any form of coalition or even the presence of Rufire in Imo. But where he finally had his time with his own hosts, right? He did say a lot. He was there for political reason. And of course, he understood his audience very well. This was where Rufire told the Easterners, let's use that as, told the Easterners that this is the time for all of you to come together and remove the devil in the villa. The devil in the villa is no other than Tifnumbu, which, in another engagement in the past, Rufire said that, he blamed himself for bringing this calamity upon you, and he is going to join others in removing the calamity. The same calamity or tragedy is Tifnumbu. So, 2 days ago in Owerri, where Rufire addressed those, I believe, the Eastern audience. That's what we're going to start from this evening. So please, like the broadcast. I received an email. Let me tell you this before we even get started, okay? I received an email from YouTube. Guess what was the content? Yeah, they asked me to beg you as the members of the temple, right, to help me by liking the broadcast, sharing it, especially liking and sharing in the part of the engagement where everybody is busy typing and arguing and all of that, right? You are doing well, but you need to like the broadcast, share it before you are fully, totally engaged. So they said that will help in pushing the platform back to the leaderboard. They said, they've got levels, right? Leaderboard, which will then make it more available, especially to those of you who have not been receiving notifications that Maiyegun was live, or you get what I mean? Now you can help me. Thank you. So now let us go to Owerri, where Rufire said a lot. Okay, without wasting much of your time, we are starting with that this evening. 2 days ago in Owerri.
And we must all come together. We must have an open mind of coming together, putting all our capabilities together and confront the evil that is in the villa. We must do it with single-minded focus, and we must put all our differences aside and ensure that this is done. The third point I want to make is that post-2027, the job of rebuilding Nigeria and bringing back the confidence and feeling of inclusion in governance will start. It's not going to be easy. Every Nigerian must have a sense of belonging. Most Nigerians today don't feel they belong to this country or belong to this government unless they have a Yoruba sounding name. And we must work together. We must not get angry. We must see this as a phase and a lesson on nation building. We must not be bitter or say we will revenge or retaliate what is being done now. But we must go back, work together as a people united, to rebuild institutions that are being destroyed, to appoint people to positions on merit, and to ensure that election time we stand up to protect our votes and not to be intimidated by anyone, whether it is police, the military, or INEC. We must register to vote, we must vote and insist that our votes count. This is our message right across Nigeria. I've been going around the country. I've been speaking to many people like you with this same message. For me, it does not matter who is the next president of Nigeria. But I want to see somebody who is competent and who cares about lifting the poorest of us out. And giving opportunity for the most endowed amongst us to excel, to realize their full potentials. Government should be an enabler of those that are weak to rise, an enabler of those that are strong to be even stronger. No one needs to be shortchanged in a government that is concerned about the people. But when a government is concerned about getting things for itself, a few families and a few friends, then the whole of society suffers. And we've seen a lot of this in Nigeria. We must come together. We must unite. We must be strong and resilient and work to make our country better. It is okay to sit and blame the leaders, but we should ask ourselves in our little areas, because each and every one of us here is a leader of some sort. You may just be the leader of your family or the leader of a group of friends. You may be a follower to the governor of Imo State, but in your family, in your schools, in your circle of friends and social interactions, you are a leader too. How have you led people? Have you led with integrity? Have you led by example? Because unless you lead by example, you make those that are below you even more cynical. This government has said it is undertaking fundamental reforms. And we agree with some of the reforms. But leaders should lead by example. You can't ask us to tighten our belts while you are buying a new plane and a brand new car for yourself. This is Latvia. Seriously, this is what I mean when I say lead by example. Because the people that you lead are looking up to you to see whether, when you ask them to sacrifice, you are also making a bigger sacrifice. When you ask them to walk, you are running. That's why you're a leader. And when people don't see that, they get cynical, They begin to distrust leaders, and this is what has happened to Nigeria. But I'm appealing to you, my friends, my colleagues, members of the SDP, that we should never, never, ever lose hope. This country is not a geographical expression. It is a creation of God. And we lost 2 million lives to keep this country the way it is. It is too late for us to go back and bring those 2 million lives. But what we can do is to make Nigeria the China of Africa, and we can do it. We can do it, and by the grace of God, we will do it. All we need is leadership that leads by example, that treats every Nigerian equally, that focuses on getting people based strictly on merit while reflecting our diversity. It is not difficult, it can be done. By the grace of God, working together, all of us, we will achieve it.
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
Just so we are very clear and don't get carried away with the oh, and all that stuff, yeah? It is El Rufire, the Kaduna little finger. He understood his audience very well. And he was very, very, very kind of like careful, picking his words, like choosing his words. He's in the eastern part of Nigeria. He's talking about some people, some Nigerians are no longer interested in Nigeria because they don't feel like, sure you get, that they belong to this contraption, right? So he's talking about the Biafrans, of course. Then he went on to be like, you know what, we can make this place a China of Africa. The blah, the blah, the blah. Rufire, a Kaduna little finger. The same guy who had milked the same divisive system that Bokwari came to legalize. Nigeria was never this divided. People mental, people crazy, but guess what? They were never this divided, ever. Not even after the genocidal war. But when Bokwari came, the likes of El Rufire that imported terrorists into Nigeria, and then stood back to speak publicly and tell you, right, that compensating terrorists, you know what I mean, is bad. You know what I mean? And the same guy who went on to actually imported terrorists was bold to say he did on TV, because according to him, if they had to pay the Fulani terrorists not to kill their people, he would pay them, and he paid them only for those ones to get weapons and probably kill more, then advance forward and further and further. When they asked El Rufire said the Biafran advocates, they are terrorists. They said, but what happened to the Fulani terrorists and the Boko Haram? He said, those ones are not as dangerous as the Biafrans who wants to break away from Nigeria, because the Biafrans are planning to break away. IPOB is planning to break away from Nigeria. Fulani terrorists are just doing business of killing people, kidnapping people, raping women, and ransacking villages. He defended that. So somebody like El Rufire, he backed Bokwari when Bokwari called the eastern part of Nigeria, or the easterners, he called the eastern part of Nigeria dot in a circle that he could just wipe off. But somehow, the same El Rufire, who has now befriended Obi because they had to get rid of Etifnumbu, has now kind of finding his way back to the eastern part of Nigeria to begin to talk like that, but in support of Nigeria, not in support of you going on. No. In support of Nigeria. Like come around and say, I'm a Fulani. I understand the marginalization. I understand how you have been treated. I understand that, we facilitated the killings of over 2 million people. But let us come together. Let us forget our past. Let us embrace one another and remove the devil in the villa. Hell, fire. You know? I mean, if you're a one Nigerianist, you probably don't really have a choice in what is really going on. You're either stuck with the Kolu, Tifnumbu, or you find yourself in the arm of the coalitionists, or wherever it is you find yourself. So you are within that space. Because according to El Rufire himself, right, the majority of the good people have stayed away from their dirty politics that is so violent and all of that, yeah? Because of how politics has now become like a war in that contraption. And because of this, again, those who are like the criminals are the ones running things. And therefore, the more you stay away, the more you have to be led by career criminals. And El Rufaya is all over the place right now, simply because, I mean, he's among the people who have the resources to do that. Put their hands in the till, so they could fund all of that. There are those who have what it takes to install government or remove government. You get what I mean? Because they have the resources, they have the money. In all of this, right? El Rufaya is saying the Easterners, this is another coded one. He said the Easterners, right? Sorry, rather, because like I said, he's addressing the Easterners, right? So he said that they needed to change Tifnumbu and bring back merit or meritocracy, to bring back merit in appointing people. And it's not going to be just about somebody who speaks Yoruba, talking about the Tifnumbu's nepotism, which is also a follow-up to Bokuwari's nepotism too. So in that case, so Hellfire is trying to make the Easterners see that if they come together into their coalition, there is a future for them in the Nigeria that is going to be like China. The message may kind of sound good, but the messenger, well, I've got Biafrans on this program watching right now, and I don't think half of them are by any means impressed by anything El Rufaya says or does. Yeah. But he's promising you that there is this fantastic, future for you in the Nigeria that they will get after all this messy one, because all Nigeria needs is just leadership, right? So if you can get the leadership right, you get every other thing right. Okay. So with the characters that are parading themselves, you can easily probably just tell if you are like a Nigerian in coma, you just stay back there. There's no point. You get what I mean? When you see some of these characters and their antecedents as well. Some of them that they will actually do their best to whitewash before this year 2027. And as T-Pain continue to, make it a hell for a lot of you, most of you will be kind of like driven straight into their open arms. Most of those who are responsible for what you are dealing with today will then present themselves as those who have the solution to help you. Rat race. We say in rat race, so there's no amount of speed or strength that you have, right? And then if you're actually thinking you are going fast, like ahead in a rat race, no matter how fast you go, no matter how much stamina you have, at the end of the line, you always remain a rat in that race. These criminals have programmed it. Good people have to stay away. But there are still some good people, unproven to some extent, who believes that, they just have to face it. Like, we just have to face it. If Tifnubu and his gang, who says stock in trade is to bribe you, to attack you, and do whatever they can to kind of like neutralize you if you are not for them. But when GRV, that is a Gbadebo, Rufire, got attacked a few days back, the Ronukus on social media have been sending their normal signal that, well, this is just the beginning. This is what all of you trying to run against the Tifnubu's interest. This is what you should be looking out for, right?